And then he was like, "There's a lot of niggas in Houston, so I don't, I don't want to talk to you anymore. I'm for the streets." Like,
that gagged me. Welcome back to another episode of Key and Carry, where we key
and we carry.
I'm Troy.
I'm Damon.
What's poppin'?
Yes, and today we're reviewing The Real Hot Boys Houston. It's an up-and-coming web series produced and directed by Todd Trevon Rogers. They actually but they posted their first episode like 2 months ago. Like, just watching this show and the way that the cast members talk, I was like, what season is this? Like, is this filmed like a few years or like a year ago? Like, what's going on?
Right. Okay, so I just before we get into like our thoughts on the show and our overall review, I just want to say thanks for reaching out and know, thanks for the love, commenting on our last video. And also, we're gonna say some things about this show that are all positive, but I do want to put a disclaimer that I feel like I still enjoyed the show somewhat. And I also want to say that, it takes something to make a show like this, regardless of how we feel about it or, our opinions or anything like that. I mean, you had an idea and then you saw it come to fruition. So, kudos to that.
Yeah.
This is me being positive.
What were your initial thoughts on the show?
I thought the show was interesting. Like,
okay. That could be good or bad.
It's like
real
it's basically a bunch of adult men arguing over who's friend, and they've been hanging out for like 7 months.
Jordan might, because she said she didn't want to deal with the girl. And so, like...
Well, Dre said the same thing.
But at some point, you are going to have to sit down and
the thing is, I don't mind talking to Jordan. But the other thing is, I do mind talking to Jordan.
I really felt like there was some bullshit going on. I felt like somebody was trying to like defame me. Like, I did. I felt. But I told you yesterday. I said I didn't want you for ambush, so I spoke to you yesterday. So why are you still from ambush? I told you we were not going to have some. My point was that you said be ready for tomorrow. Yeah, I did. And why did I say that though? I don't know that part. I told you I thought I went for ambush. So I made a week.
Yeah. I thought I was tripping just watching the show because I couldn't fully grasp what was happening in like the first episode. I was like, but then I looked in the comments and everybody else was like, like,
right.
I am confusion.
America, explain.
Like, they were just like, I'm confused too. I'm like, me too, bitch. The fuck? Like, there are so many things that I can point out to make the show so much better. Like you said, the show, I think the biggest problem with this show is that it doesn't have a direction. It doesn't have a clear purpose or, reason.
Other than y'all just sitting around arguing over who's been friends longer, like, can we see something else? Like, somebody go to work? Like, shout out to y'all going to get food and actually eat. No, like, shout out to that. But other than just the arguments, like, I was kind of just lost during this show.
It's kind of like eavesdropping on like someone else's conversation at a bar, and it's like I'm confused, but it's because I don't know you.
Right.
I'm not really minding my own business. I didn't understand who these people were, and not saying like I don't know you or like who are you, but just like I don't get why you're on the show. Like, what is the point of you being here?
We didn't get a proper introduction for the cast members.
Right.
Like, this is this person, or I'm so and so. This is what I do, and like I'm here because it was just, oh, here's this person. Let's just all meet up and just have this gathering.
I think this show, could stand to look at like the structure of a lot of other reality TV shows, and I feel like you'll see like a running theme of like how they introduce their characters and why they introduce their characters, because when you're thinking about like a story structure, the characters, knowing the players are essential because when you
True.
talk about somebody, it's like, who is that? I don't know who that is, you know? And so it's weird because I feel like Ashton, he got like a main introduction, and then everybody else was just like, everybody else would just come into a scene and start talking. And I'm like, well, who are you? Like who? And then I thought about, we watched a couple episodes and I'm like, oh, that's so-and-so mentioned them in a previous scene, but it's like, I can't as a viewer make that connection. You have to be like, hey, I'm so-and-so. This is what I do for a living. This is who I'm friends with. This is.
I swear I literally said that to myself. Like, they got me trying to figure shit out and I don't like it. Like, there would be like a group outing and somebody would be speaking, but the camera wouldn't be pointing on them. So I'm like, who?
Okay, so they addressed that in the comments. I guess there was some loss of footage, and we understand that. I think I read something in the comments about how they did this over quarantine. So I don't know the turnaround rate of the show. Like, I don't know if the producer had this idea in February and now it's being finished over this last summer. I don't know. Like, that could also affect production and like whether things make sense or not. Because I was also confused. I'm like, who is there a phantom in the room? Like, who is this supposed to be a POV? Like, why aren't we seeing the person that's talking?
This is filmed in a whole panty, and I didn't see a lot of face masks. I mean, during the one episode, I saw like a few people with face masks, but there were a lot of gatherings and not a lot of face masks in sight.
Yeah, y'all. I mean, wear your face mask. That's
and
the only thing out of this.
It's Houston. I was expecting a little bit more from Texas, just a little bit, just a change. I was expecting just a little bit more from Texas.
I'm trying to find my next piece in Houston. So no Houston slander for me. Okay, no Houston slander on my end. I feel like it was confusing, but I also feel like I was getting bored because I was so confused, and I didn't fully understand who was who and how long these people had known each other. Like, I feel like those are things that you have to come up with up front. You can't show us the drama and then be like, oh, well, you know, that's so-and-so friend.
Right.
I'm like, well, I wish I would have known that from day one.
Right. Yes, let's run through the cast.
All right. Lead us through. Yes, Mother Goose of this review.
You shady bitch. They go trash can, yeah. I hope that's water in your cup.
It is. It's carbonated water.
Okay.
It's carbonated water. I got this drink in my cup, okay? Don't worry about what's in my cup, Yan. Don't worry about what I'm sipping on.
Come on, Lil Wayne. Like, somebody should have been worried about what was in that nigga cup. But so the first person we were introduced to was Ashton, aka Mother Goose, aka the Northside Jackto. We gonna get to that, aka the DM monster.
The DM monster.
In his defense, if he wasn't in everybody's DMs, this show wouldn't exist.
True.
So it worked out. It worked out.
Do you think this show should have been sponsored by Jacked?
Yes.
I think it should have been. I think it definitely should have been sponsored by Jacked.
Yes. I guess he's like the nucleus. I was about to call him the membrane. Totally. I'm sorry. Not shade. The membrane. The nucleus. I'm sorry. Ooh, the nucleus of the group. Basically,
somebody failed 5th grade science. I'm just playing.
The Nene Leakes of the show. The Mariah from Married to Medicine of the show.
Okay.
I guess he's like the star of the show, but he's constantly getting like outshined.
Remember when we said that it kind of seemed like a parody? This, like, his introduction made me think it was a parody. Like, I genuinely thought like, oh, this is like a parody. Like, they're making, you know, fun. But then I was like, oh wait, no, I think they're being serious. But just his personality made me think it was a parody because it kind of did seem put on. No shade, but I feel like almost everybody on this show was just kind of there. Like, nobody really gave me like a strong personality, you know. But yeah, I think Ashton wanted to be in charge of the girls, but it just wasn't working out. Like,
it wasn't.
You ever see somebody try so hard for something and it just doesn't work? he wanted to be in charge of the girls so bad. And it's like, girl, give it up, Delicious. It's not working. Like,
you know, we talk about, like, I think on a few episodes of G Status, we talked about people wanting to play like that villain role, but not really having the intellect to fill that role.
Well, I ain't gonna come for his intellect, but I don't think he was.
I'm not gonna say you're right. I shouldn't have said intellect, but I feel let's go there. Fucking intellect. You're not intelligent enough to be like
your opinion, not my opinion.
Yeah.
No. As the show went on, I was like, okay, do you want a friend group or do you just want people to bully? Like, I was like, do you just want subjects to bully or do you want an actual friend group? Because I'm like, I think in like a genuine friend group, I mean, everybody's different. Every group has its dynamics, but in most of the friend groups that I've been in, there's no like leader. Like, I mean, there are people that, you know, like will make decisions. You know, there are people that are more like laid back and others are more into like making decisions. But I feel like there's no like head person where it's like I'm running shit. Like, no, we're all friends, we're all adults.
And the hotel scene where he was talking to Braylon, he was like, well, why are you here? Or you seem like a tag along. I'm like, well, nigga, didn't you say you wanted friends? Like, you can't, you like, oh, you're a tag along. Well, I'm like, you brought Archie along. Isn't Jordan a tag along? And then if you had a problem with him coming, why not pull him to the side? I'm pretty sure you knew that he was coming on the trip. Like, before, like, even planning the trip, I'm sure he knew he was coming. Like, why not put him, like, August to the side or Braylon to the side and was like, you know, I don't think this dude should come, blah, 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 blah. Like, he was just trying to make an issue out of nothing.
His friend, August's friend, had been around all 5 episodes.
That's what I was saying.
It's just like, where is
first
this coming
episode?
From? Ashton wanted the power in the group. So like to him, in his mind, I feel like he felt like, oh, I need to vet you before we become friends. Like, I need to vet you before you come into the group. And so it's like, again, we're not in high school, we're not in middle school, we're adults. If you want to hang out with somebody, just reach out to them. Hey, when we get back to Houston, let's grab a drink, me and you. Like, I want to get to know more about you. Boom. That's all you have to do. I'm glad that August spoke up for his friend. He said his friend was like, what are you doing? Like, what?
Like, what's your motive for this? I like that the cast was melanated. Also, I like that it was outside of Atlanta, because I feel like a lot of the shows that we've been reviewing have been like Atlanta based, but I like the different complexions of like melanin this show, and I like that it was in Houston.
Okay.
What about you, yeah?
Okay. I asked the question, but I wasn't prepared to answer it.
Got to stay on your toes.
Okay, what did I like about this show? I did like the number of people that they had on the show. I feel like it seemed like they had a lot of people just because we didn't know the characters. They didn't introduce them properly, but I feel like they had a solid group. Like, all you need is like 4 or 5 main characters, or pretty much 4 main characters, and then the rest can be supporting cast.
I also feel like changing, like, what would change the dynamic of the show is if Archie was like the center of the group instead of Ashton. I feel like that would definitely change like the tone of the show. I mean, it's not really negative, but I feel like it would just change the energy of the group. Let me say the energy of the group. Let me stop saying show. The show itself isn't toxic. It's just the friend group. I feel like if Archie was the nucleus per se, like the group would be less toxic. Like, because he seems like way more like laid. I mean, we'll get to him later, but overall he just seems way more laid back than Ashton.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, I like him. I liked Archie. I feel like he was really funny. I feel like he was self-aware.
Yeah.
I feel like that's one thing that was lacking on this show is the lack of self-awareness, I guess. Like, it's only like Archie and like maybe one other person that had like a sense of self-awareness, I guess. Like, but yeah, he was just like he was just so funny. Like, when they were sitting at the I think the last episode when they went to that kickback in Atlanta, he was like,
Bitch, how the fuck did we get here? Who house is this is? How did we get here? Bitch, I caught the bus. Nah. Nobody supposed to be here, no, for real. How the fuck did we get here?
Whose house am I in? Like, I'm getting comfortable and I don't even know who house I'm in. And then he was like, am I on a Tyler Perry play?
I didn't know what the fuck was going on. Was I in the audience or was I part of the play? Cause bitch, Tyler, where my check at?
Yeah.
They was lighting his ass up about like his cooking.
So he can't cook?
I don't. Apparently, they saying he can't because
Can he not cook, or was they just being shady?
They might have been being shady, but like 3 different people said that his food be like hit or miss. So I don't know, but I mean,
Tops usually don't cook. No, I'm just especially fun size Tops. They don't really cook that well. No, I'm playing.
You ain't have to. You said it's gonna be Trash Can in this episode. There you go.
First of all, he's a self-proclaimed fun size Top. Okay,
True.
he named himself that.
True.
But yeah, I liked Archie. I thought he was cool. On to another fave of mine. Kind of, yeah, he was a fave of mine. August. What did you think of August? August, no Alcina.
Yes.
August, no entanglement.
Yes. August, the drama king.
Yeah.
My first thought was, I know his title was Clean as a Whistle.
Every time.
He was honestly, like, to me, like the most interesting person like on the show. Like you said, everybody, well, you said off camera, like he was doing the most because everybody else wasn't doing enough.
Yeah.
Like that's what
he was. He had the personality. You know, he was cracking jokes. He was showing his personality. I think August is probably the most well-rounded person on this show. I mean, that wasn't hard, no shade. It wasn't hard to do that. But you know, he showed his personality. He was cracking jokes. He even showed, you know, a vulnerable side of himself, talking about the passing of his brother.
Right.
So, like, that's what we want to see. And you know, on this platforms like this, we want to see a well-rounded person who's showing their personality. We even know what he does for a living. We even know he's trying to get into acting. Like he's a whole character. Yeah. And so I feel like he should have been the main cast member versus maybe Ashton, who kind of seemed like he only wanted you to see what he wanted you to see. And like we've talked about in our previous reviews, everybody has a right to show what everybody has a right to some level of privacy on these shows, but like at the same time, you have to show a well-rounded version of yourself. Right. You know, because we will connect with that vulnerability. We can't connect with somebody who's not vulnerable. We can't relate to that.
I said he was the most attractive of the cast and the best dressed, in my opinion. Like, he has some really dope fits. I really did like his shirt where he was talking with Ken on the couch. Okay. It was like a gray shirt with like a green and pink graphic on it. But Ashton's mixer, you know, he got into it with a boy about his wig or whatever. Did you see the edit where it was like the altercation got physical and Ashton's guest had to leave? I want to know who won that scrap.
Show that footage. Like, show that footage.
Peep how pressed he was when he was introduced to Lemus, and he basically turned to Ashton and was like, "Why didn't you introduce me to him?" This is when they were at the hotel in Atlanta, August.
He was pressed?
Yes, he was like real life upset that Ashton didn't introduce him to Lemus.
I thought he was into him. I think that's why.
I was like,
oh yeah, okay, yeah.
I'm like, damn, nigga, you.
Oh
he
yeah.
Was like, how come you didn't introduce us?
Yeah, he was like, he was flirting hard. Remember, he was calling him legs. He was like, and then oh boy was like, don't call me legs. I'm not into that. That was a cute moment.
Yeah,
I thought that was cute.
I'll watch. Yeah. That's the only fans I subscribe to. Gotta go there.
Look at me agreeing before I fully understood what you had to say. I did feel like it was weird that he was trying to press Ashton about how, I guess, how he met his roommate. What's the roommate's name? The light-skinned one? Jordan. How he met Jordan. Like, I feel like it was like, mind your business. Like, why do you care? Like, they could have met in the mall. They could have met in a hall.
Mhm.
Like who cares? It's none of your business. How do we feel about shit? I'm trying to figure out who else is on this show. DeAndre.
Ooh, DeAndre. That's daddy. The introvert. That's daddy. Mr. Dog Pound USA. Yes.
Did she?
Yeah, I like that.
Trash can,
Yeah, I like DeAndre. Tall, melanated, fine. Also he did the intro track for the show.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's it wrote at the end at the credits, the end credits.
How do we feel about Speak of the Devil, Sherrod?
Sherrod, aka the Peacekeeper.
Yeah.
Big difference from the other Sherrod that we usually talk about.
I was gonna say shout out to him for sharing the name with our good sis S. Died.
That's the Sherrod from the Real Hot Boys. I liked him. He was messy, but I like mess. He was spilling tea at August's apartment.
Archie is one size top. So shut up. Because Archie and Jordan was supposed to be in a relationship. Jordan got to Houston and decided that it's too many niggas in Houston for me to be booed up with you. They came to Houston to be with Archie.
Okay.
Jordan is Jordan. So he started talking to everybody else. Including Nashville. First night at the pool.
When they started drinking, it was so much tea delivered.
I was like,
every episode was like
I was
that.
like, shut up. I want like as a viewer, I'm like, what? Do you tell? But like as like someone, like if I were you, you're talking too much. You giving too much.
His confessional, he was like, I feel like they set their questions up because they kept pulling. And I was like, no, homeboy, you
kept spilling. You kept spilling.
Yes. You went over there with the intent to be messy.
I was like, and then he started spilling tea that had nothing to do with him. That's when I was like, oh no, you should keep it cute, because that's not you can spill your own tea. Spilling somebody else's.
You oversharing right now.
You overspilling. You overspilling on some shit that ain't even got nothing to do with you.
There was a lot of shit to take in.
A lot.
Like after that scene, I was like, I'm pretty sure like this show is like the gay cast or the gay in the alternate world, there would be like the gay cast of Jersey Shore, where everybody is kind of like hooked up with each other,
having each other.
I'm like, this is what this is. That's what that is giving.
Atlanta ain't got shit on Houston, baby. We're not gonna judge all of Houston because of this insular friend group. We're not gonna do that. But they put Houston on the map in terms of the gay reality TV, black gay reality TV shows, as far as I know. So yeah. I was just like, what the fuck? But yeah, wasn't that when he was talking about how, I guess, Jordan, something about how Jordan was with somebody, and I guess he brought Jordan to Houston, but then Houston,
Archie.
Yeah, but then he was like, oh, that was Archie?
Yeah, Archie brought Jordan to Houston.
And then he was like, there's a lot of niggas in Houston, so I don't I don't want to talk to you anymore. Time for the streets. Like
that gagged me. I was like, that's so fucked up.
Sherrod, now if this is your personality, come on now. You showed us personality, but this is a little too much. This is a little too
Peacekeeper.
The irony, right? The peacekeeper.
Right.
I
feel like he's the charade of the show, the bone carrier.
Yes. Somebody call him the bone carrier. It was
Sherrod and Charade. The irony, the bone carriers.
Ooh.
Was that when she was in Ken's hot ass house because he ain't had no AC? And the bacon boy, my goodness.
Oh my god. How do we feel about our last person? Kenny, also known as Tory Lane stand-in, because he looks like Tory Lane.
Yes. Kenny, aka the comeback kid.
Yes.
Now I know a few people who call themselves a comeback kid, and them motherfuckers are nasty. So I was gonna say I wonder how he gets down, but then he said that he was involved in that threesome and he wasn't into it because he had to be to work at 7 a.m. So I don't want to find out what that's giving. Like,
First of all, how can you be a comeback kid when y'all only known each other for 7 months? Where are you coming back from? Like, I can see if y'all were childhood friends or y'all were friends in college.
oh my
Y'all
gosh.
haven't even known each other. Y'all haven't spent a Christmas together, and you talking about you the comeback kid? Like, wait. I was like, y'all only know each other for. When I tell you, when I found that out, I gagged. I wasn't gaping, but I was gagged. Like, I'm thinking that y'all have been friends since like college or something. Like, especially since y'all got all this history that we haven't known, you know, since the show started.
He said they relocated. Everybody moved to Houston for this show, I guess, to see if they're compatible to be friends. And I was like, you uprooted for a show to be around people
to be friends?
Yeah, I was like, nigga, you can't make friends in your own hometown. Like,
maybe they all lived in Texas, but they all moved to like, I don't know. That's weird. I don't see why.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really care for Kenny. I mean, I just feel like he didn't really want to be on the show. Like, I just feel like he was just there. I feel like every time we saw him, he had an attitude, or he was, you know, he was over it. I got to go to work. I'm like, I mean, why are you here? Like, what's the point? If you don't want to be here, you have other things to do. I don't get why you're here. This show really should be sponsored by Jacked, because the conversations and like the conversations and like the attitudes of this show remind me of Jacked. Like, you know, like, I mean, like, I don't know if you've ever been on Jack, but like just the conversations you might have with some people, it just never leads to anything and it doesn't make any sense. I feel like that's what a lot of people on this show did. Like, you can tell that he met these people through Jack, because I feel like if you opened up the app, it would be these people, like, just like in your closest radius. Shout out to also Brandon, I think his name was Braylon. Was it?
Yeah, Braylon.
I'm trying to review the show and don't even know their names.
Yes, Braylon, August's friend.
Shout out to Braylon, because I don't know, he just seemed cool. He wasn't. He should have been a main cast member on the show. It's funny that it's kind of funny that Ashton was like coming for him, I guess, for being a tag along. When I'm like, I feel like he has more personality than you do. Like,
very true.
Like he seems more well-rounded and more mature, and like just the things that he has to say, and like, you know, just the way he carries himself seems more interesting than you are. No shade.
Very true.
When he was like, what did he say? Oh, he was trying to shade August and Braylon. Again, I don't know why he targeted them specifically. I don't know why he kept coming for them, but he was like,
so you know that August is balding on a budget, so of course we're at a kickback. He don't want to go to no clubs or nothing because he ain't got no money or no down payment or no deposit on anything. So we're gonna go to a kickback where everything is free, bitch. I live.
I'm like, first of all, who the fuck is going to a club during a global pandemic? Who the fuck is going to a club during a pandemic? Who? Like,
well, you'd be surprised, but that was my first thought.
I was like, what? Like, I'm like, who's going to the club right now? I ain't been to the club in so damn long. I'm not going to no club right now. Are you crazy? Like, even y'all doing kickbacks is a little
questionable,
risque, because you know, it's a kickback, but there's I counted, it was like a good 15, 20 people in that space. So no mask, of course, but yeah, like, I was just like, that's so strange that you're even saying that when there's a virus that literally any of us could get from being around each other with no mask. But I mean, like I said, I will say that, like, kudos to, you know, the show, the production and the cast members for even doing anything. Like, you made something, so you know, you made something you can stand behind. You made some work, you know, so be proud of that. But I do think that the show is suffering in terms of, you know, a story. And I was so surprised that this show had like 4 story editors. I was like, not only did they have one, they had somebody to edit the story, but they had 4 people. I was like, how that work? I think that the cast, I think honestly, August can stay, Braylon should stay, what is his name? What is his name?
Sherrod
What is
can
his bad
stay.
name? Sherrod can stay.
Um,
Archie can stay.
mhm.
And honestly, I think everybody else, no shade, but I don't see them. Maybe Ashton. But just to have like somebody in there that's probably gonna be the villain. Um, but
I would
yeah,
make Kenny the villain. Get rid of Ashton. I would make Ken the villain.
I don't feel like Ken gives enough to be a villain. He be acting like he don't even want to be there. Like I feel like to be a villain, you have to have energy. You got to put in some
True.
sort of effort, and
True.
he don't really feel like he even want to be there. So
He got to be to work at 7, so he
do.
probably don't want to be there. That's
When he
right.
said that, I was like, he was. I really didn't even want to do it. I'm like, so why did you do it?
Right.
Like what? Like you could have just said no. Like
Right.
I hope they didn't take advantage of you, did they? Like you could have just been like, I'm out. I gotta work.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
It's
like
2, 3 in the morning. I'm drunk and I got to be to work at 7. I'm like, you got a lot going on, homeboy. That's
just
a
go
lot.
home. Call that Uber. Where is your Uber? Like, call an Uber. Get your ass home so you could be up at work in the morning. But yeah, every season has its. Every show has its kinks to work out.
Right.
Especially the first season. So. But yeah, that was our review of the Real Hot Boys of Houston. Yeah, it was
Season 1.
interesting. I mean, it was.
Well, I'm sorry, not season 1, mid-season. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, mid-season.
It has some keys to work out, like we said, but I mean, it was entertaining. It did give us this show, so or this episode. So, yeah. Thanks again for reaching out to us.
Yes.
If anybody else wants us
out.
to review their show, we'll do it too. I know there are more out there that we'll probably take a look at. And yeah, just stay tuned.
Before we sign off, I have a question for you.
What?
Oh, so would you rather be known for balling on a budget, or would you rather be known for being the Northside Jackto?
Wait. Probably balling on a budget. Definitely not gonna be the Northside Jackto.
I'm probably gonna say Northside Jackto.
I don't even remember I ain't been on Jacked in so long. I don't remember. I don't even remember. I don't remember what it's even giving. No shade, but like I haven't been on it so long that like
so fucking stupid.
I don't remember. It's been so long. Like, I'm sure even if I was to get back on the app, it wouldn't be Jag or Grinder. Like, it'd be something else probably. Yeah, the girls on Jag be carrying.
Oh my gosh!
I do remember the girls on Jag used to be so angry. I'm like, why are you so mad?
My goodness!
Seek a therapist. Why are you on the app?
You think you was dealing with Elvis?
It was a bunch of Elvises.
Elvis, not Presley. Elvis, no Presley.
Elvis, no Presley.
It needs.
But yeah, this has been our review of the real hot boys of NYC and the real hot boys of NYC. I need to go to bed. The real hot boys of Houston. Like, comment, subscribe, as we always say. If we said something that you agree or disagree with, feel free to let us know in the comments, but let us know why. I feel like sometimes people will comment and it's like, can you elaborate? Like, why do you feel that way? But yeah, we gave our honest opinions. No hate here. Everything we said was either a joke or constructive criticism. So
yeah, definitely constructive.
If y'all have anything else that y'all want us to review, feel free to reach out. We'll do it probably. We'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out.
Yes.